Now let's look back with some fondness at a man who was hounded out of the club eventually, but was still loved by a mass proportion of the fan base. 442, we're talking to Carlos this week. I can never pronounce his second name properly.
CARVALHAL.
That's even worse than I was going to do it, Jake. CARVALHAL. Yeah. It's CARVALHAL, isn't it?
Something like that.
I appreciate you trying.
I will say this. This is where all the pronunciations and names went downhill for me when Carlos came in. You brought in all these players I couldn't do. I was all right when we had Smiths and Jones and Johnsons.
You're starting to sound very Brexit. Chill out.
I know, I'm not meaning to, but...
Carlos exclusive on Sheffield Wednesday. I'm an owl forever. My intuition says I'll return one day. Spicy headline. Speaking exclusively in April 2021... In the April 2021 issue of 442, available to order online now. I don't know why I've just plugged them, but I'm reading from there. I'm reading from their quote. The Portuguese discussed his 2 years in charge of the English club and the love he has felt from Wednesday supporters since. I think they miss me, but that's a reciprocal feeling. I've said that I'd like to go back in the future. My intuition tells me it will happen one day. I'm an owl forever. And those sort of situations I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. I saw them at matches a couple of times last season and was pleased to meet them. After all, no one visits a person they don't like. Our idea was to do things differently, to avoid a typical English style and break away from the past. In the beginning, we struggled a bit, playing more long balls that we wished, that led to negative results. That's talking about how it was a bit rocky to start, and in the first season we got sixth, when actually if we'd have been a bit more consistent we could have probably got automatics that season. It was an interesting league. Eventually the players absorbed what we wanted. We reached the championship playoff final in the first season. And then we finished fourth. We had full control of the club. Not even a roll of toilet paper was purchased without my knowledge. That is interesting because that says how, if that's true, how if Chansiri trusts you, you can have that relationship with him. But I feel like Carlos is the only manager who's had that relationship with him.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's the only one.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know if it was a case of first love. DC.
First love.
It was his first appointment as a manager. And it worked so well. I wonder if that first season where he saw what he could do, and then... Because you got to remember, when Carlos came in, we were all like, who? We all looked, he had 11 clubs and like, well, this ain't going to end well.
Yeah.
We already were saying that.
We're owls, so we go, a lot. I won't do that ever again. I apologise. I'm going to go and put myself in the bin. I'm in it. Right. This is the longest we've ever recorded a podcast for, and I ran out of water a little while ago, so this is going rogue now. I'm also eating a massive pizza tonight, so I'm not eating throughout that, so I'm currently running on fumes. Go on.
It's very interesting that you got given full control of everything. If you want that with Darren Moore, you need to give him the same relationship you have with Carlos with Moore, so he can run it all.
And that looks like what they're trying to develop there. Could you see Carlos ever coming back to this club? Because obviously he talks about his intuition says it's going to happen one day.
Yes, I could, but I'm always not a big fan of club manager coming back to clubs he's already managed.
Why?
Because
Chelsea won the league when they brought Mourinho back. They sacked him again, but they won the league.
Yeah, but that worked. If it doesn't work, you're then known as the manager that came back to try and rekindle it. It didn't work.
Yes, but isn't it also worth a try if a manager's got a good rapport? And it's kind of like one of those situations where if you're in a relationship, not speaking from personal experience here, by the way, in any of my past relationships, but like if you leave one past relationship and then you get in another relationship in your past as well, and you realise that actually there's some things I took for granted in the first one, and you learn as you go on. Do you know what I mean? And then you obviously all them break down. And then you find what you want in life. So Chansiri might be finding what he wants in life and what he wants in a manager.
And if you actually look at what Carlos had gone and done, he's had a very good time after. Apart from the Swansea thing, that was a bit. You can also look at it from the fan perspective, right? When I was talking about that relationship link there, we have had such crap since Carlos left. And we at the time thought we were in a really crap situation, and then you actually pile on more crap. It's kind of like, oh no, come back. You were actually great for me, you know?
And it's difficult to see because I remember I was one of the people that I think I rang in to Football Heaven when Carlos was sacked, and I said,
No.
yeah, first time and only time I ever did it. Because I was bored and I was still a student at this point, I think. And back when Rob Staten was there as well, and I think I spoke to him about just like, I feel like, even though it's sad, I feel like it's the right time for him to go. And I did feel that at the time because the way the fan base had turned on him, I hated it when our fan base turned. I still hate it when our fan base turns because it's not nice. And it had turned on Carlos, if you remember at the time.
Yeah.
And I just felt like...
the press conference with the £20 note.
Yeah, I was in that situation though, in that mind space of like, well, we've got this far. We're kind of like, we were becoming entitled Wednesday there. You know, we were becoming like, well, we can attract a big manager and go up now. Well, I didn't see that. I didn't see Joss coming. Who saw that coming? I was like, this guy, Carlos. And do you remember when Joss came in as well? We went, oh, well, you know, it's worked with Huddersfield, with Wagner coming from that sort of background, and we trusted him with Carlos.
The only thing I liked about Joss, he let Hugh getting that hat-trick versus Norwich City on the last day of the season.
Yeah. You're just trying to rip open the wounds currently, aren't you? Bringing up Hugh and everything now. You're just going for it. But yeah, it's nice to hear...
We just want you back.
It's nice to hear Carlos talk about good time. And I remember Hugh also played a lot under Carlos.
He did.
And Carlos was the right kind of manager for where we were. He did a lot of things with us, and I think we have seen the cracks in it. But... I've got to present the side that is going to get mentioned in the comments. For the people who've not watched this all the way through and have just commented straight away, Carlos did contribute to our injury factor. He did have full control of things, and there was some mismanagement in there as well. And it did leave us in a slightly rebuild phase after that. But then again, you've got to realise that every manager does that. When they come in and put their stamp in, the next manager is not likely going to be a like-for-like replacement that can just slot in and use everything the way the club was working before. So I'm not surprised that was the situation. I think if Carlos
came back, he'd get fully backed again by Chelsea if he knows what he can do. And I think the fans, for the most part, would back him.
Yeah.
Like I told you...
I want to give Darren Moore a chance, obviously, and everything.
Until Moore came, I was hearing that there was an agreement in place for Carlos.
Well, he was in Sheffield as well, weren't he, and everything. And it was... I don't know though, because isn't he still at Braga, or am I making that up?
Yes, I think he is.
Why would he? He's doing really well at Braga. I don't know why.
And that's his boyhood club as well.
Yeah, I do think he will be Sheffield Wednesday manager again one day, but I think it might be a case of the only way I could see it happening in the recent future is if we go down with Moore, right? Moore brings us back up, but then struggles to push us higher than mid-table.
Yeah.
And we're in a position to reset and do it again. That would be a hell of a story, right? The manager comes back and finishes what he started. But it's a bit romanticised, isn't it? But it'd be interesting to know what everybody thinks about the Carlos link. But I like the man. I always liked the man. I thought he had a personality more than other managers. And obviously we saw that when he was on. It's almost like he only started to exist when he went to the Prem.
Spoke to him a couple of times. He was always very courteous and had time for you. And even if it was a quick 5-minute chat, he'd seen you in town, he would speak with you for 5 minutes.
I tell you what, podcast guests, Carlos would be up there. So if you are listening to this, Carlos, by any chance, come on the Talking Wednesday podcast. We would love to chat to you because, especially in my lifetime, the best 2 seasons with Wednesday. Yeah, so there's a lot of positives in there, and I would eventually, obviously, I'm backing more fully. But eventually, if things weren't to go right, I would happily welcome him back at the club. Now we've seen what can happen after the fact, and you can go through more turbulent times. But yeah, I just thought it'd be an interesting topic.